Go.
Okay, afternoon everyone. So apologies for my slightly Neanderthal look. I am told some of the girls like it, so I'm just possibly going to try a different facial hair thing at the moment. Anyway, we're on lockdown, so one of the most exciting things of course is that you can't get any fast food. So I've been perfecting a KFC recipe, and this is a combination of a couple of things that I've seen. I think you're going to quite like it. It's a little bit different. But let's tuck in, because once you've done this you can then make your own KFC at home. Yum yum yum. So first of all I want to just talk very briefly about the chicken. So lots of recipes call for you to take raw chicken and then you breadcrumb it and then you put it in the oil for 10-15 minutes. Now when I've done this a couple of times, the problem I have is that I tend to find that just the flour and the coating just get a bit too well done. And so what I've done is I'm experimenting this time, and what I've done is I've actually pre-cooked the chicken. So all I've done is I've taken some pieces of chicken. You can see here these are thighs and some legs, not many bits, because last time I cooked too much of it and we ended up throwing it away without eating it. So what I've done is I've put the oven on for 160 and I've put these in for about 40 minutes. Okay, so arguably they are roasted and they're fully cooked through and they're cold now, so you'll see they're sticking a little bit to the pan there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically start off. So I've got those and they're cool. I'm going to start off now with this. Okay, so one of the things again that they normally ask you to do is you put things in buttermilk and then you put them in, cover them in egg and stuff. And actually, I'm going to do this quite differently. There's no eggs involved in this, which is interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some tomato sauce. I'll go through the initial things I've got for the starting part, which is some soy sauce. I've got some ground ginger. I've got some salt. I've got some garlic salt, which again was brought back by the lovely Alex. Shout out to Alex for all those lovely things he got from Italy. So this is garlic salt. And what I'm going to do is just normal tomato ketchup. I'm just going to squidge about, what's that? Probably about a good tablespoon, of tomato ketchup. Then I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of ginger, and I'm going to do half a teaspoon of garlic salt. Okay, so I should be using a spoon for this, but I just do this by eye rather than having too much. Whoops, all caught. And then lastly, I'm going to add about the same tablespoon of soy sauce, which of course I need to undo because I haven't done that. Oh, hang on. Let's get a sharp knife. This is where an accident happens and I stab myself. There we go.
Positive.
So that was good. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix all of this up. I shouldn't do this with this really nice knife because I'll just ruin the point of it. But I'm mixing all of this up together, as you can see, and then I'm going to put my chicken in that. Okay. So my chicken is going to go into this. Okay. I'm going to get all of my pieces. And what's going to happen is, interestingly, this is going to take the place of your kind of egg and stuff, because this is what the flour and stuff is going to stick to. And I'll need to get the name of the YouTube channel that I got this from, but this was just, I thought, a really nice way of not having to worry too much about worrying about egg and stuff. Okay, so ideally you can leave, if you've got the time, you're supposed to leave these for a couple of hours and that can then permeate all of that. But I'm now going to go on to the flour part and I'm going to show you all that mixing, and then we're going to do a couple of other little bits. So give me 2 seconds to wash my hands and I'll come back.
Go.
Okay, so now to the arguably exciting part of the KFC flour bit. Apparently this is, you know, a hidden secret and all that kind of stuff by the infamous Colonel, who had it in his safe and wouldn't tell anyone. Quite how true that is, I don't know. But here we go. So here's the James version. So I've got, and see if I can remember all of these. We have some dried English mustard, and that's about a teaspoon. That goes in, okay. This is white pepper, and I've got a teaspoon of that as well. This should be black pepper. I've run out of black pepper, it turns up tonight, so I would normally have half a teaspoon of that, okay. This here is garlic salt. This is actually garlic salt I made myself, but you can buy that, obviously. That's quite easy to get. Sounds not, but it's that's lovely on boiled eggs as well. Then I've got
garlic salt.
Oh, sorry, teaspoon of the garlic salt. Well reminded, Lydia. Again, a teaspoon of oregano, a teaspoon of thyme. Teaspoons make a lot of appearances here. 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Not having too much salt in there. Okay. This is a teaspoon of garlic salt. And this is 2 teaspoons of paprika. Now, when I've done it before, actually a lot of recipes I've seen call for lots more than 2 teaspoons of paprika. I've got to be honest, I think you can go too much on the paprika. The final thing is a James edition, which I've been looking for, and it is this stuff here. It's called All-Purpose Savoury Seasoning. It's an aromat, and you sprinkle it on chicken and stuff, and it tastes really nice. This is arguably the little secret thing that you won't see anywhere else, because I think that adds a distinct certain something. So I've got all of this. These are all my dry ingredients, and I'm going to use my cool little whisk here, and I'm going to mix it all up. Okay. It's important that you mix this really, really well. And this is obviously just your seasoned flour. Okay. Now the next bit I'm going to show you is also quite exciting, because this is something that I'd never thought of doing before, and I love this. This is really clever. You're going to love this bit. So what I do is I've got some water here, just normal water, not salted, nothing like that. Okay, and what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to take, okay, my piece of chicken with my lovely yummy stuff in it. I'm going to put it in the flour. Okay, like this. Some recipes do also call for corn flour in this. I don't have any corn flour, so I can't try that out. Okay, roll that. Everything's got to be covered in flour. Okay, ready for this bit? You then take your chicken piece and you dip it in water.
Ew.
I know, eel, as Lydia would say. Okay, shake it around a bit, bring it out, put it back in to the chicken. Okay,
that's disgusting. And
that, my friends, is where you get this kind of very lovely, fabulous kind of double coated KFC chicken. And that is how you do that. So basically I'm going to do that with all of my pieces, and then I'll come back and show you that, and then we can fry them, and I'll show you what it looks like.
Oh.
Okay, so I've floured my pieces now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to deep fry them. I'll just talk very briefly about that. I'm very fortunate because, much to my wife's annoyance, I bought a deep fat fryer, and she didn't want me to buy one, but I did, and it's been brilliant, because when I want to do things like this I can actually cook it properly and safely. Everyone else has to use a pan, and again what somebody will use is probably get a pan like this, fill it up to about here with oil, put it on the heat, and it's more to do with the control of temperature. So I encourage everyone to go and buy a deep fat fryer, because I think they're great, and they're good for doing chips, and you can cook stuff. Obviously you don't eat it every day, and if you want to do a deep fried Mars bar, then you can do those as well. Basically, if you're doing it, pour vegetable oil, not olive oil, because that burns. So something like a nice sunflower oil, put it in, and essentially buy yourself like a thermometer or something, or when you put a drop of bread in, you'll find in that it cooks very, very quickly. That tends to be around about 160 degrees, and that's what you want for this, okay? But the other thing I would say is, number one, don't fill your pan up to here, because you'll end up having the fire brigade when that catches fire. Fill it in lower, and then the most I will cook, even in my fryer, is going to be 3 pieces at a time. And the reason for that is that I don't want the temperature to reduce too much when I throw pieces in. So anyway, so I'm going to cook these now. My fryer is warming up. Once I've fried them, I'm going to put them out on a piece of kitchen roll, and then you can see the finished result when they're done. See what it should look like. Okay, so here we go. Here's the finished result. So just come out of the deep fat fryer. It doesn't look exactly like KFC, but I think that's large because I didn't use any corn flour. Normally I would put some corn flour in the flour, and I think that gives it a slightly different texture. But lovely and crispy, if you can hear this. Absolutely cannot wait to get stuck into this. So listen, I definitely think it's worth a try. Obviously it's a bit scary doing deep fat frying and stuff, but don't be scared of it. As long as you watch it, it's not a problem. And that's probably cooked. That's taken me, after I've cooked the chicken, it's probably taken me about 10 minutes to do. So it's not exact, it's fairly fast. The only thing I would say is that when I've cooked this, obviously with the pre-cooked chicken, I have cooked this for about 3 minutes. Okay, so don't do anything like 10-15 minutes, because all of this lovely skin and coating will burn. So you've got to be a little bit careful of that. So let's say 3 minutes in the oil, and you've got lovely crisp KFC chicken. Enjoy.